1st, 2025. This is the meeting of the Rules, Confirmation, and Public Elections Committee. I am detecting quorum with myself, Vice Chair Cash, Council Members Struffel, Rutherford, and Weiner being present. Pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated section 844-112, time is reserved for public comment at the beginning of each meeting. There is nobody signed up for public comments here today. So we will move into our agenda. First, we have our consent agenda. In the section of resolutions, all resolutions currently on the agenda, which is items 1 through 8, are on consent. Is there anything that anybody wishes to pull from consent?
The only thing I would say is that item number 5, if he retires, we have nothing good to watch on TV. Because he really is so much fun.
And nothing to laugh at.
Yeah. A true rapscallion.
This is true.
So that was completely out of order, but it was nice.
Yes.
Well said.
Okay, seeing nothing, I will go ahead and read the items into the record. So we've got item number 1, RS 2024-958. Sponsor Prep T, a resolution approving the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County. Item number 2, RS 2025-998. Sponsors Cap, Porterfield, Parker, Spain, Ellis, Horton, Hill, Huffman, Gadd, and others. A resolution opposing expansion of the Education Savings Act program in Tennessee, RS 2025-999 by sponsor Benedict, a resolution supporting the Tennessee Waste to Jobs Act currently pending before the Tennessee General Assembly. Item number 4, RS 2025-1000, sponsors Huffman, Evans, Stiles, and Gamble, a resolution honoring the life and legacy of Vincent Horsley. RS 2025-1001, sponsor Prep T, a resolution recognizing Russ Pulley on the occasion of his retirement as a National Collegiate Athletics Association football official. RS 2025-1002, sponsor Swara, Hill, Porterfield, Toombs, Stiles, Druffel, Bradford, Benedict, and others. A resolution recognizing the newly named Wasato Park and hard work of local community members and championing the change in acknowledgement and acknowledging the ancient and contemporary contributions of Indigenous people. RS 2025-1003 sponsors Vo and Swara, a resolution recognizing Lunar New Year 2025. RS 2025-1004 sponsors Gadd, Weiner, Ewing, Toombs, Porterfield, Evans, Ellis, Welsh, Stiles, and others, a resolution recognizing January 2025 as Human Trafficking Awareness Month in Nashville and Davidson County. Those are the items on consent. Again, is there anybody wishing to remove anything from consent? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Second. Moved and properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? We approved the consent agenda by 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Next, we will move into board and commission appointees and nominees. Candidates in this category will appear before the Rules, Confirmation, and Public Elections Committee to determine the relative qualifications of candidates. We're going to go a little bit out of order and start with agenda item 11. That's the Solid Waste Region Board reappointment of Demita Beck-Taylor for a term expiring on December 15th, 2030. Ms. Beck-Taylor, thank you for being here. Would you like a parking validation?
Yes.
Here you go. Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today? Okay. So tell us a little bit about why you would like to continue serving.
Yeah, so I have experience as a beautification commissioner prior to being on the board. I've most recently been the board chair for about a year now. And I feel like that experience, as long as my background in public health, really enables me to understand the critical intersection of how waste and health can impact the city. Most specifically around the waste management, those environmental impacts, and trash is not a sexy thing for most people, and so it's something that is of interest to me because I can see the downstream effects, especially from a public health perspective and working in healthcare. So as a member of the board, I feel like I can continue to advocate for members of the community, specifically within policies that are presented before you guys for votes and how they can impact residents. And I really value being a voice of the community, especially a lot of the underserved population. And I really want to make sure that Nashvillians in all sectors of the city feel like their voice can be heard when it comes to waste management infrastructure, the strategies that are put in place, and ultimately what decisions are made to make sure that they have an additional voice outside of them just coming to speak to you guys directly.
Perfect. So one of the things that you touched on that I'm really passionate about is sort of approaching policy positions from sort of a health and health policy standpoint. And so could you talk a little bit more about sort of how you view the intersection of public health policy within solid waste management and how that can have broader implications for public health in Davidson County?
Yeah, so I really think about like placement of where landfills can be placed or having access to recycling facilities, how often we can recycle and those types of things. I feel like that the public health piece can have the intersection because there are environmental impacts, and sometimes those aren't seen, but they're definitely there, and they're not always immediate impacts. It can be years or decades down the road before that happens. So taking those into consideration about where things are, how people have access to waste management strategies, how the city thinks about where things are placed, and kind of the unintended consequences of having things in certain places can be a benefit. So it's having those two play a part. There's usually one impacts the other, and so it's just making sure that you have those considerations when you're thinking about what you're planning to do and how you're thinking about doing waste management strategy overall.
Anything from the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to also thank you guys for being flexible. You've seen a little kid running around. It's fine. Babysitter bailed, so thank you guys for doing this a bit out of order. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
He's adorable.
Thank you.
All right, we will go back to item number 9. This is the Human Relations Commission appointment of Kara Inse for a term expiring on July 21st, 2025. And did I pronounce that correctly?
No.
You sounded so confident.
Exactly, that's how you gotta do it.
It sounded really good.
Yeah, how do you pronounce it?
Kara
Kara.
Ince.
Ince. Okay, Kara Ince. Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Are you currently, well, would you like a parking validation?
Yeah, sure, thank you.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes,
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being appointed to here today?
I do not.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about why you want to serve.
Sure. So I'm a native Nashvillian, and I've seen, Nashville change a lot over the years, and I think the diversity of our city is just what makes it so special and unique, and throughout my whole career, I worked, you all have my resume, so, but I'll just highlight a couple things. I worked as the Director of Communications and Advocacy at Connection Americas, and I also worked as a constituent liaison and Director of Communications with Congressman Jim Cooper. Now I'm at Vanderbilt University, but there's been a common thread where I've worked to make Nashville a welcoming and inclusive city, and I think that has well prepared me to serve on the Human Relations Commission. I really love the One City for All mission of the Human Relations Commission, and I also really love that there's data-driven, innovative solutions that are considered, because in my role at Vanderbilt University right now, I'm on the research and innovation team, and so we're always looking for innovative solutions, and we love data in order to back those solutions, and so I really appreciate the work of the Human Relations Commission, and I think that I would be well suited for it.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, so one of the things that I agree with you on is having the sort of one city for all and making sure that all of our neighbors are welcome despite any rhetoric that we might see coming from other governmental entities that exist both here in the state and at the federal level. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
handled.
Quite, yes.
Very diplomatic.
And so I guess one of the questions that I have and generally try and ask is with regard to navigating times where a lot of our neighbors are feeling incredibly vulnerable and exposed, how you view your role in being able to provide an atmosphere within the specific agency to ensure that the government that is supposed to be working for them is also representative of them, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think just sharing information about, with people about how to access the services and the things that the Human Relations Commission can provide. I feel like a lot of people just don't know about the different avenues. So if you're hearing all these rhetoric from different other agencies, it's nice to have a place where you can go if you feel like that will listen to you and be accessible to your concerns. So I think spreading that information is very important.
Anything from the committee?
I'm always wanting to learn more about Vanderbilt's innovation. What's the word that the?
The Wondery?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And like, I guess I just want to ask, like, what's one thing that's come out of that like you found like that could be a game changer? Just.
So I don't specifically work with the Wondery. They're under a larger umbrella of what we do. So what my role at Vanderbilt is that when an individual researcher or say the chancellor wants to do a project and they want partners from outside of the university to help facilitate that where needed. So for instance, the SMART grants that were just announced last week, I was just talking to Diana back there about them. Vanderbilt is doing some of the research and is collaborating with Metro on this project. So that's what our office does in order to, obviously Metro could definitely do something by themselves, but when you have a research partner and you have other partners, you really can do so much more. And so that's the exciting thing. It's never a dull moment. There's my office does university-wide, so all the different schools and colleges within Vanderbilt. So there's lots going on.
Anything further from the committee?
From a good district, that's for sure.
Yes.
Well,
Perfect. Well, we will go ahead and move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, next we will move to the Metro Development and Housing Authority Board appointment of Frank Stevenson for a term expiring on February 4th, 2030.
we're gonna have to defer him, he's stuck in Memphis.
Okay. One meeting?
One meeting, yes, please.
All right, so we've got a motion, well, do we have a second?
Yep.
All right, we've got a motion on the floor for one meeting deferral. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for one meeting deferral. Okay, next we have the Transportation and Licensing Commission appointment of William Allen Stone for a term expiring on October 10th, 2026. Mr. Stone, thank you for being here.
It's actually Sloan.
Oh, Sloan.
You are not the first, and you
Oh,
will not
it's-
be the last.
It's on
It's
here.
written on here as Stone.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
It's
no,
S-L-O-N-E.
That is not your
It's
fault.
a non-standard spelling.
I'm looking at the application alone,
Would you like a parking ballot?
Please, thank you.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
I am.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being appointed to here today?
I do not.
Okay, perfect. So tell us a little bit about why you want to serve.
Well, I have always enjoyed being kind of tangentially involved with government. I started my career as a criminal defense attorney. I did conflict counsel when the public defender's office wasn't able to take a client due to internal conflict reasons. And so I've spent a lot of time, I've probably spent close to a decade, maybe even longer than that, down around this courthouse. I had a mentor who actually served on the transportation licensing under Carl Dean's administration, and took me along. I was there for an internship at the Department of Commerce and Insurance, the Securities Division at the state, and she was a director there and said, "Oh, I've got this weird meeting today, you should come with me." And we sat, and it was not the most engaging, but it was interesting. That's kind of the difference. You know, it was, I really like how transportation licensing kind of plugs into just about every sector that there is. I work, even still, my law practice is now part-time, but I work mostly with small business owners, and I know that a lot of the towing companies and a lot of the livery drivers and a lot of the cab owners, they are all small business owners. They are all people who are just trying to make sure that their regulations are met and that they can go and do their job every day. So understanding kind of that component of it, but also understanding that there is something to be said for the rule of law and being able to know that the cab that you get into has somebody who has been vetted and has a vehicle that is up to code and has been inspected. I think that makes a big difference. And then you know, when you take ride shares and things like that into there and the complications that those have created and the party buses booming and things of that nature. I mean, it's just been a real, there's a lot of different ways it plugs in, so.
Definitely. And I appreciate your willingness to serve, and I say this with most folks. I don't think it's any secret that I think it is incumbent that we've got at least some legal experience on most of these boards and commissions, because I think it's of a net positive. Others might disagree with me, but you know. So yes, anything from the committee?
Necessary evil.
Yeah.
My wife and my son are attorneys, so I can say that.
I'm very sorry.
Anything from the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next we have board and commission confirmations. Candidates in this category will be subjected to recommendation vote by the Rules Confirmation Public Election Committee and confirmed by council. This is the Auditorium Commission appointment of Dejanay Cole for a term expiring on July 1st, 2027. If y'all will recall, we interviewed her on December 12th, or December 17th of this past month. Is there any discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. And that concludes the agenda. As a reminder, though, we will be having a specially called rules meeting this coming week. It will be a slight change. It will be on Wednesday, the 29th let me make sure that I am looking at the correct calendar.
Is it the different date that was sent out, or is it?
No, it's the same date that was sent out. So the 29th at 4:30, because originally we had discussed the 28th, but I've got a community meeting on the 28th, and as well, there are a couple of other committees that are meeting on the 28th, so just wanting to accommodate everybody's schedule and make sure that folks are able to be here. So 29th, 4:30 to 6.
Is there already a current agenda for that, or is it?
Yes, yeah, so the agenda should have been sent out, but if it hadn't, I'll reach out to the council office and make sure that's circulated.
Yeah, it might have happened.
And
I haven't seen
I
it.
haven't seen it.
under it's about rule changes.
Yes.
Right, and are those rule changes back on the agenda for us right after the meeting after this meeting, or?
So I believe that the rules proposed by Councilmember Johnston was deferred to the first meeting in February, if I'm correct. As well, we'll also be discussing proposed rules changes from Councilmember Coopin, which I suspect after our committee meeting, or will likely be back on file for us to hear them in our regular rules meeting. But both of those will be discussed, as well as a proposed rule that that has not been filed before the council office, and I don't anticipate it'll be filed anytime soon, from Councilmember Spain, but just wanting to have a full and open conversation about those proposed rules changes. Any other business from the committee? Seeing none, do we have a motion to stand adjourned?
So moved.
Moved and properly seconded. Without objection, we do now stand adjourned.